Okay. Well, welcome everyone to the inaugural edition or inaugural episode, first episode of Okay. Maybe experiencing some technical difficulties here. All right, I think we're straight. So, yeah, I think we're good. So anyhow, sorry about the technical difficulties, but still working everything out. So again, first episode of Live from the Point. And I just wanted to start this feature because one, I know that this channel's been around for a little while. I've been working at this channel for about a year. Let's try that. It doesn't like where I put my phone, I guess. What I was trying to say is I haven't really used the live stream feature on this platform because I just haven't used it. I don't really have a good reason. I guess I really wasn't into doing a lot of live videos because I wasn't sure what I would talk about, what I would say, anything like that. And it was just a lot easier for me to do do a not live video and edit it up, chop it up. Even if I were to record and post the same day, it still made more sense to me. But at the end of the day, all of my videos, I want to aim for a really raw format. I want to bring you with me so you can see the things that I see, experience the things I experience as I experience them. And so I guess, one of the things I wanted to do was discuss things with people. So here we are. So I've got a few topics in mind and we can kind of go there. I plan for this to be about an hour-long affair, and I don't know, like I said, as the very first live stream, I don't know how many folks will jump on here, but, and I'm here kind of doing this by myself, seat of the pants kind of affair. So, we'll just take it as it goes. Let me go to the chat real quick and see if there's anyone here. Oh, I've got Motovlogger Virginia. And yeah, he says, hello, and hope you had a great time at GAMM. A few friends I know met you. Well, thank you, good sir. That's Motovlogger Virginia is a guy that I've chatted on and off with pretty much. I've been following his videos for a little while. He was one of the first motovloggers I started following when I started going down this road to kind of get tips, tricks, ideas, and trying to figure out what my exact style was going to be. And okay, he says lives will greatly help your watch hours to get monetized. Absolutely, I think so, and that's certainly one of the reasons why I'm doing this. I really want the interaction, audience interaction, but yes, that's certainly one of the reasons to do this as well. Yeah, I had a great time at GAMM and got to meet Rolling with T-Bone and got to meet Blue Bike and Doyle and Chestnut Mountain Tin Man and a few of the other guys, a couple of the guys from up in Mass. Well, one guy's from Mass, the other one was from Rhode Island, but those guys were pretty cool. And I know they're not really local to this area, but they, yeah, all of those dudes were pretty good dudes. I liked spending time with them. What was the other fellow's name? Oh yeah, Ray Gregory, he was there too. Yeah, it was a great time. We had a great time at GAMM. And if I'm currently looking at my schedule, no promises, but if I can make it work in my schedule, I am eyeing GAMM. I'm not 100% committed, not by any means. I've got to make it work with my work schedule. Initially, I said no, I probably couldn't, but I'm trying to figure it out. We'll kind of go from there. So, yeah, I have grown. Well, okay. Let me put it this way. So, When this channel first started, I was still farming. I still owned my farm and was doing farming stuff. And my first few videos, I've kind of removed them from this channel to try to refocus it. But it was all about farming. I did a few videos on land management, things like that. I grew up on the farm and worked for USDA at the time. And so I was really heavily into the agriculture community. And then Alabama, one of the biggest industries in our state is agriculture. So, you know, I was trying to do agriculture videos. And so when I set this channel up, when I sold the farm and was looking at pursuing my lifelong passion in motorcycling, I decided to be lazy and to retool this channel into a motorcycling channel. And looking back on that decision, that was probably one of the worst decisions I could have made from a YouTube creator standpoint. And the reason why is that the algo I had been building so much momentum, and I had done about 10, 15 videos, so I really wasn't that far into it, but I was building momentum towards farming channel, people who are interested in farming, interested in agriculture, USDA, things of that nature. And so when I pulled the rug out from under that particular progress and started doing motorcycle stuff, the algo was kind of confused and didn't know what to do with it. And as a result, it took me a while to try to get the audience or get the algorithm to put my videos in front of an audience that would be receptive to it. And so that was, it took a while, but I've been building on this channel for about 2 years now, just under 2 years, I think. I know it's definitely been over a year. It's like a year and some change. And really have been working on this, trying to put out quality content, been experimenting with a few things to try to figure out what works, what doesn't work. I know every creator is just a little bit different. So what works for one creator may not necessarily work for another. So there for a while, I was doing 2 videos a week, and I've started to try to get back into that. I went through the phases of, you know, trying every gimmick that didn't work, putting out as much content as I could without really looking at the quality of it, things of that nature. Scaled back, started working on my quality content, trying to make that better. And so I feel like at this point in time, I've got a good handle on, you know, where I'm trying to take this channel. And I feel like we're really at a point where we're really starting to build a Burroughs community where there's other content creators, there's just people who watch YouTube, but I feel like the audience is growing and we're able to build a bit of a community all around the joy of motorcycle riding, and I love it. It's been an amazing experience. It's been a great learning experience, certainly for me, over the last 12 months. And I just love everyone who's along for the ride. The audience members have been awesome. I've loved receiving the feedback. Feedback's been very helpful. And at the end of the day, it's just helping me to become a better content creator, to create the kinds of types of content that you want to watch. And really, at the end of the day, that's my goal. Yeah, Motovlogger, I am going to try to, I'm going to look at BAMM 25. I know that there's quite a few content creators that are going to be there. I think this is the 5th year in a row that you guys have had BAMM. So there's going to be several folks out there, and I know it's going to be a great time, and I really would like to get up there. So we'll see. Fingers crossed, but we'll see. Motorcycle channels are saturated. Yeah, you know, here's the thing about that. And I'm not dogging on anyone. You know, please don't take it that way. But what I think is there's a lot of different people who are doing different types of content. So there are some motorcycle guys who do exclusively like ride videos. And then there's others, people who do exclusively like news and current event videos. And what I am trying to do is, I know, me personally, I know that I don't have the time, money, resources. Sorry, I got something in my pocket that's crinkling every time I put my hands there. And, it's a receipt. Let's get that out of there. I don't have the time or the resources to do cross-country travel. So I would love to live on the road and to go from coast to coast like Adam Sandoval and some of these other YouTube creators. I just don't have the ability to do that right now, and I don't think, unless this channel blows up and becomes really something, I don't think I'll ever have the opportunity to do that. That's not to say that I don't have the opportunity to travel. I do. I have gone, I went to GAMM, I went to the Tail of the Dragon. I have plans to go out to Texas later this year. So I have the ability to travel, but not extensively enough to warrant doing a motorcycle channel that does all travel. And I think that one of the things with the advent of the YouTubes, with the advent of YouTube and all of that, there used to not be, you couldn't turn on the TV, for example, and just have a motorcycle channel. And if you did, it would be stuff that, you know, maybe 30% stuff that you were interested in and the rest was not. So what I've tried to do is curate news, current events that's germane to the cruiser touring motorcycle community, and to try to bring information out about that. Now, that takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of research, and I'm certainly not trying to be, you know, the breaking news kind of deal where I will put out all of the information that I can that possibly exists in the motorcycle community. I don't have the time to do that, but I do want to hit on large things that to talk about that, you know, needs a discussion. And I'm not necessarily factually reporting either. I am going to give you my opinion on how some of this stuff works and filter that through some of my life experiences, my education, my training, things like that, to help break it down in a way for people to understand. The biggest video on my channel right now, the Sturgis issue with local government up there. You know, they've got a mess up there. At least it was earlier this year when this news first broke. You know, they were having problems with revenue streams and things like that. Well, that's an area I actually kind of understand. So, you know, I don't mind trying to break that stuff down. Let's see. Motobomb, your first van was 2024. And yeah, Itchy Boots, so I have watched her content. I think she does, if I remember correctly, she does do some cross-country travel. The one that I was thinking of that does a ton of cross-country travel is Her Two Wheels. I know she does it. Adam Sandoval does bunch. And then there's another fella. I can't remember his name. His name is Ryan. Oh gosh. See, you know, this is what I get for doing a live stream at, like, you know, 10:16 Central on a Sunday night. Full Throttle Hog, that guy. You know, when you talk about the creators that you watch and you want to try to emulate, one of these days I'm going to be on the level of Full Throttle Hog and to be able to do grand cinematic videos. And when my GAMM movie, I called it a movie, when my GAMM video drops, it's going to be another attempt to try to do that cinematic type feel. I'm working on it. And I realize that those projects take a lot of time and effort to do, and that's not really compatible with my shake and bake video output right now, because I'm basically doing not quick and dirty videos, but I'm trying to do my production quality a little bit better than that. But I'm trying to do videos that are supposed to be germane to current events, and I can't take 3 weeks to work on the production value on something like that, right? So these are going to be minimally produced videos that are supposed to be current events, or doing rides that I'm posting something to give you a raw feel. So what I'm going to do is try to do a mix of these, so where I'm still doing these videos on current events, things of that nature, but in the background working on some of these other things. So that's why you probably won't see a GAM video out of me, even though the other creators posted theirs. You may not see a GAM video out of me for a little while, because I'm working on it in post and trying to get the production value up. So yeah, Sturgis, man, what a mess, right? Part of it, I wonder, and this is, I'll preface this by saying that I've never been to Sturgis, and my goodness, I said that in that video, and you would think that I said that, you would think I said death to Harley Davidson or something like that, because the reaction of some of these people, and now that I've actually said that, that's going to be taken out. That's going to be a clip. They're going to snippet that out and say, well, Burroughs' point, he said death to Harley Davidson. It's not. But anyhow, you would think that I said, that the moon was purple or something like that. People got really angry about the fact that I was talking about Sturgis, but had never been to Sturgis. And, I wanted to say that it's like, look, you don't have to have gone to the Sturgis rally in order to understand some of the problems that are unique to this particular situation, because the fact of the matter is they're not unique to this particular situation. This could happen anywhere in the country to any major event. I know it's not on the same scale as Sturgis, but like I compare this to SEC football, right? So if Tuscaloosa, for example, up and decided, hey, all this tax revenue that we're making from the 8 or whatever number of home games, let's just put it in the toilet and flush it and not really understand where it went. Oh no, now we can't afford police officers for game day. Now we can't afford EMS for game day. Now we can't afford the special traffic cones and everything else, traffic details, ALDOT, all that other mess. We can't afford that for game day. That would be a severe problem. And so that's an issue that Sturgis has had. They don't have a huge population year round. They have actually a really small population. So the fact that they can expand their services to be provided for this rally is okay. We're back. Still trying to figure out why it is that my connection keeps getting lost, but again, production issues, will iron them out in time. But, right, so the fact of the matter is these basic services, fire, EMS, police, traffic control, public works, to include like sewage, sanitation, all that other stuff. These are all basic services that, hey, guess what? The local government is the only entity that can provide those. So, you would hope that the tax revenue would pay for all that, but the fact that it's not, there's something wrong going on there. And I don't know if they're just not, I hate to say that more taxes is the answer, because usually it's not, but there's something going on with how those tax dollars are being used. that's on them to figure out. But it was big enough news that a couple of major national newspapers picked it up and ran with it. So, go yell at those authors too, by the way, not just me, because those guys don't even own a motorcycle. I say that. I don't know for sure whether those authors did or didn't, but that the feeling, the sentiment's there. So, let's see. Yeah. Motovlogger, I get that. Actually, I am live streaming off of my GoPro right now, and so I'll have to do that in a future live stream for sure. I'm not sure if I was just trying to think of some of the other creators I've seen go live. I think they were in the horizontal format too. I might have to do that. My other thought process was, because I'm on multiple social media platforms, was to utilize another one of my cameras to go on TikTok as well, or some of the other platforms. But this is one of those things of spreading myself too thin. It becomes really hard to manage multiple platforms, and really YouTube is my bread and butter. Although TikTok's been picking up steam for me here lately. I've been getting some attention over there too. Not nearly the same subscriber and interaction level as YouTube. YouTube, I like it better. It is my bread and butter, but yeah, I might have to branch out a little bit. So. Yeah, I'll have to look into that, Motovlogger. I'll probably do that for my next video for sure. I can turn the camera sideways. We'll make that happen. So topics for chat. One of the things that I wanted to kind of go over was our upcoming BAMM. The BAMA Motovlogger Meetup. So after the great success of GAM, there was some talk about doing a BAMA Motovlogger Meetup, not to conflict with VAM and not to conflict with the Georgia Meetup. So what what has been decided is that we will do BAM in the fall. So we're looking at September, and I just did a video about that. And you know what? I don't want to lie to y'all, because I done forgot what dates that we set it for. My brain has just been so frazzled here lately with literally everything that's going on. Right. So we scheduled BAM for September 19th, 20th, and 21st, with the everyone coming in on the 19th, the ride being on the 20th, and everyone kind of checking out on the 21st. But we've got some great plans. We're going to have, let's see. All right, Mobomb, thank you for watching. We'll catch you in a future video. So, BAM, right? Talking about BAM. So, September 19th, 20th, 21st. I will be there on the 19th and 20th and the 21st. I'll be there the whole time, basically. It's actually going to be right up the road from me. The hotel that we picked out is going to be in Sylacauga, Alabama. So if you haven't booked your rooms for BAM, go ahead and do that. We did grab a 10-room block for BAM. Come to find out that there was actually a wedding that's got a block as well that came in about the same time that we did. So whatever rooms between our block and their block, whatever rooms that are left over from that are going to get snatched up pretty quick. So get into the host hotel if you can. That's going to be the IHG Holiday Inn Express over there in Sylacauga. So definitely go over there, call up the front desk. You'll have to call in person, or not call in person, but call and tell them that you're with room code BGP, the BAMM group party, and they'll get you in on the room rate. But call and get your rooms sooner rather than later, because those rooms are going to go quick. Once they go, you'll kind of be on the economy for a room, and I don't know how many rooms, like I said, after this wedding party, I don't know how many rooms will be left. So definitely go in and grab that. But BAM, September 19th, 2021. On the evening of the 19th, we'll probably just hang out, go grab dinner, see who all shows up. And if it's anything like GAM, we'll just meet and greet and talk until the late hour. As far as the 20th goes, got a great little ride planned. There's a great couple of rides in the central Alabama area that we can hit within, a reasonable time around that Sylacauga area. So got a great ride planned. Don't have the exact finalized route, but we'll let everyone know. But yeah, gonna hit a couple great rides around this area. And if you're from out of state, you definitely want to get down here and check it out and become a part, or be a part of it. And if you're here locally, if you're here local to Alabama rather, you probably already will know these routes. And definitely once we start getting out that way, you've probably ridden these routes before. But doing it as part of the BAM group, the fellowship, all of that stuff, that's really what this is all about. I mean, yeah, you could ride these routes whatever you want, but you're not going to get a chance to come hang out with all these other vloggers, motorcycle content creators all in one chance like this. That's really what this is all about. So if you're in the area and you want to come down and hang out, we're more than, I think that's a great idea once you come down to the hotel and hang out. If you are wanting to stay, come on, stay. I'll be there, like I said, to chat with everybody and hang out. So it's going to be a great time. It's definitely going to be a great time. I enjoyed myself at GAM. Some of the guys that were at GAM are planning on coming to BAM. So yeah, definitely come check us out. It'll be a fun time. So definitely a couple of photo ops we have that are going to be set up. Going to visit a local motorcycle business. So, I've got a few things planned up here. It's going to be a fun time for everyone involved. So anyhow, let's see. So we talked about BAM. Yeah, really just, this is, I guess I want to take a minute now to thank everyone. This is one of these things. When I first started this channel, I didn't think that anyone was going to listen to me, have anything or be willing to listen to anything I had to say, be willing to watch my videos, to consume my content. And the fact now that we've got 900 and some odd subscribers, and we are this close to getting to 1,000 subscribers, it means the world to me. And I really appreciate everyone who's subscribed, everyone who's watching, everyone who's been part of the Burroughs Point community. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Y'all have been amazing, and it's awesome to be a part of this community. I really do enjoy it. So, but here's the kicker. I'm gonna flip this around. If you're watching this video and you have not yet subscribed, go down there, smash that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. But really, the main thing is hit that subscribe button, show your support. That is the easiest way and the free way to show your support for the channel, and really by subscribing, if you're not aware, and most people are, and if you're not, I won't hold it against you as well. But anyhow, subscribing tells basically YouTube that, hey, this guy is worth watching. This guy has content that people like. And so when you hit that subscribe, you're telling YouTube, hey, this is a legit channel. And in a day and time of ever increasing AI videos, junk content, brain rot content, things of that nature, people who are actually making YouTube videos, real flesh and blood people who are making YouTube videos, we need to support those people because, AI has a time and a place in entertainment. All right, we're back. There we go. Anyhow, when it comes to there's just something about the motorcycle community I don't think is compatible with AI generated content, just generally. But anyhow, yeah, I appreciate y'all by subscribing. You're telling the YouTube algorithm that this person is worth watching, and I really appreciate it. So, let's see. Just look and see here in the chat. Yep, I think Motobomb went to bed on us, and that's fine. He's the East Coast, and this is like 10:34 Central Time, so it's late over there on the East Coast. Anyhow, right. So progress on the bike search. So one of the things that when it comes to the motorcycle search, I had a chance to test ride the bikes up at Road Atlanta when I went up there, which, by the way, that's my first time ever going to a Moto America event. I'm going to be back, and I had no idea I knew I was going to a Moto America event, but I didn't realize how fun that would be. So definitely we'll be back to Moto America to watch the races, but I didn't even stay that long because I didn't make plans to be out there. But I'm going to come back and watch the races when they come back around. So, but anyhow, got to ride the bikes over at Road Atlanta. Rode the Indian bikes, rode the Harley Davidson bikes. A few of the Harley Davidson bikes I was interested in and curious about. And so what I think that I need to do from here is, so I've ridden the India Pursuit and Challenger. I've ridden the Harley Davidson Road Glide and a few of the other Harley Davidsons that I'm not going to consider anymore. But I guess let me explain that last statement. So if you've watched the videos, you know that I rode the Harley Davidson Lowrider ST, and it was it's an amazing bike. Don't get me wrong, but the ergonomics on it are just do not work for me. The Heritage Classic, I do like the Heritage Classic, but I don't know that it's going to work for a main touring bike. And so basically, yeah, those were it for the Softails that I was interested in. And then I rode the Road Glide after that. And so rode the Road Glide, rode the Indian bikes, and I've got the input for those. I'm kind of percolating it, thinking about it. But I really want to ride a Goldwing, and I want to ride an R18, if nothing else other than to rule them out. Simply because, I don't want to get down the road on this and say, oh, I should have rode this, I should have rode that. But I want to be able to at least say, you know what, I rode it, I didn't like it, and we're going to move on. I do think at the end of the day, I will end up picking up a V-twin bagger, a V-twin full dresser or something like that. But again, I just want to rule out the bike just in case. So my next step probably, I'd like to reach out to Southern Honda Power Sports and to go see if I could test ride one of their bikes, but I wouldn't be opposed to something else that was closer. So I need to find a Goldwing somewhere to test ride it, and I need to find a BMW R18 somewhere to test ride it as well. So I got to figure that out. I know that Big Number 1 in Birmingham has R18s, and I know that later on this year at the Barber Vintage Festival, BMW usually does test rides out there. So I may end up just test riding out there. But, you know, I got time. I've got plenty of time to figure this out because I'm not planning on buying until later this year, early next year. So I've got, I got a little time to kind of figure that out. So. All right. I'm drinking my off-brand Sam's Club Coca-Cola. Let's see here. I can't think of anything else, y'all, at this point. We've been going for good, you know, almost 40 minutes here. So, let's see. At the chat, Manuel says, good, no need to rush in anything. Yeah, so when I set out, I did a video about this actually, about me looking for the next motorcycle, and I put out my criteria on this. And just to kind of refresh everyone's memory on this, I've got, and I ride a 2012 Kawasaki Vulcan Voyager, and I love my Voyager, don't get me wrong. One day soon, we will get all these bugs worked out. And I'm not sure why this is having problems, but yeah, anyhow, my Voyager. I got my Voyager pretty well dialed in the way that I want to ride it, but it's a 2012 at the end of the day. And I'm not scared of a high mileage bike, I guess. What I have the issue with it is that I haven't had a new bike in like 20 years. The last bike I bought new was a Ninja 650R back when I was 19 years old. And so I really, I'm to the point where I want a new bike. And yeah, it probably doesn't make sense, but that's kind of where I'm at. So I feel that I would, all right, so if there were no issues in the world, right? I feel that I would buy another Voyager. If that was like the top of the line, everything like that, I wouldn't have a problem with buying another Voyager. The heartburn that I have with buying another Voyager is that why I can't bring myself about to spend $20,000 on a motorcycle that is significantly the same as the motorcycle I'm riding now. Like, there's nothing about it that is upgraded. There's nothing about it that is better, anything other than that, other than the odometer has 0 on it, right? So that is my heartburn. That is my specific heartburn. And, you know, there's rumors out there that at some point Kawasaki may upgrade this bike, but, you know, I haven't seen anything for 2026 yet on it. You know, they could surprise us all and say 2026 we're completely redoing the Voyager, but as of right now, where we're sitting in 2025, there's no advantage to me to spend that money on that bike. So that's why I've decided to broaden my horizons. Pardon me. I've decided to broaden my horizons and look at Indian and look at Harley Davidson and look at, Honda, look at BMW, and I'm open to these other brands. Specifically, I'm open to BMW because I've already owned a 1200 CLC. I currently own one. It's, if you're looking for one, by the way, a 2004 R1200 CLC. There's one on consignment over at Basic Cycle in Carrollton, Georgia. So go over there and call them up and check it out. I have it on good authority that they'll make a good deal on it for you. But anyhow, so not opposed to the BMW because I already owned one. I know what they're about. It, cool. The only hang up on that is it's a boxer engine. I want to ride it just to make sure that that's not something I want to get into. Honda, I mean, the reliability. It's like the Toyota of motorcycles, right? So I've also owned, one of my bikes at one point in time was a Honda ST1300, and I really liked that bike. People call it the miniature Goldwing, but I really liked that little sport touring bike. It was an amazing little bike, and I regret selling it, like wholeheartedly regret selling it. It was a good little bike. And so when you talk about getting a Goldwing, Honda reliability, all that other stuff, there's reasons why I would want to choose one, but I think that I would miss the V-twin rumble. So I want to ride it just to make sure, because some people say once you get on a wing, you're like, oh no, I'm not riding anything else. I just want to see if the magic happens. I just want to see if I get on there and if I feel the magic. That's all I'm after. So we'll go from there. Like I said, I think those two platforms deserve my attention. I owe it to myself to ride those bikes, to at least cut them out. Other than that, it's Harley Davidson versus Indian at this point. And so I really don't know. And I've asked Indian guys, I've asked Harley Davidson guys, I've asked people who don't ride either. And so, man, I'm just trying to take as much data as possible and try to figure it out from there. Let's go back to the comments. Manuel says, what bike did you start with? So my first motorcycle, I bought it at the wise age of 19 years old, was a Kawasaki 650R. And I bought it because I was curious about motorcycling. And so what really got me into it, I was living in Hawaii at the time. And so on the island of Oahu where I was at, I was stationed over there in the Navy. So on the island of Oahu, like, people rode sport bikes. That was the thing at the time. Sporties were everywhere. And so I didn't feel like I was the kind of guy who wanted to lean over a tank just to go down the street on it. So I didn't end up buying like a ZX6 or, a Gixxer or anything like that. Although I probably could have. Yeah, I decided against that. And it's probably a good thing that I didn't. Or it's probably a good thing I didn't end up picking one of those up. But ended up picking up the 650R, which has more of a standard riding position. And I took that thing all over Oahu. I rode it around the island several times. Put a pipe on it. I'm trying to remember if it was a Mustang seat. I put something on it because that stock seat was god awful. But ended up putting some kind of better seat on it, and it became almost like a sport touring bike for me. Rode the crap out of that thing on the island. And then when I got stationed in Washington, took it with me to Washington State, rode all up and down the Puget Sound with it. Eventually sold it and ended up picking up a Honda Shadow 750. Loved that bike. And that's kind of what got me that Shadow now. that shadow is what got me into cruisers and everything else like that, because I was always curious about the cruiser touring world. And looking back on it, honestly, looking back on it, I probably should have out the gate. You know, I'm sitting here thinking why I ended up buying that 650R. I think if I really had to assign a reason, it's because I was 19 years old in a motorcycle dealership. So, I mean, if you want to get real. But, man, that's a lifetime ago. But yeah, you know, looking back on it, I probably should have, just went with a cruiser, Harley Davidson, something to begin with, and I probably would have been happier with it, honestly, if I'd started with a cruiser out the gate. I probably would have been happier with it, but, you know, that's not the mindset I was in, and, you know, we all do things for a reason, and usually it's not for our reason, right? It's you can assign whatever you want to it, fate, God, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, you know, there was a reason why I didn't get one back then, and you know, now I'm doing touring motorcycle videos on YouTube. So, but yeah, that the Honda Shadow got me started in the world of cruisers and touring bikes. That particular bike, I ended up riding it all over Washington, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, Oregon, all kinds of different places. That was a good little bike. I rode the crap out of that little thing. And it was the last bike that I owned before I bought my ST1300, which got me back into the world of motorcycling after a hiatus. And I can't really answer, if you were to ask me why I stopped riding, because I'm trying to think when I stopped, when I sold that Shadow. I can't even remember when I sold it off the top of my head, but if you ask me why I left motorcycle riding, I probably can't, I couldn't give you an answer. I just couldn't. I think I sold it before I went back to school. I don't know. Anyhow, sold it and kind of went without a bike for a while, and kind of got back into it within the last several years. So I'm happy I'm doing it again. It's a great outlet. It's a great way. I mean, I'm preaching the choir here. Y'all know why we ride motorcycles. So, you know, it's a great way to be. So, Manuel says, probably had fun with it. I'm guessing that's in reply to the 650 comment. Okay. Manuel says, LOL, I'm trying to get a Ninja 500 for school. Look, all right, here's the thing about small displacement bikes. So, this video is not sponsored by Walmart. So I'm going to put that out there. That's not product placement. So anyhow, the Ninja 650 are the small displacement bikes, right? So there's a time and a place for those. A lot of people knock them because it's like, oh, it's either a girl's bike or it's a beginner bike or something, you know, it's something along those lines, right? It's something derogatory. But look, dude, if it's got the go, right? If it's got the gumption to get you where you're going, right? If you're not interstate riding and you're not trying to go 3 states over, or whatever, right? There you can do a lot of commuting on like a 250. You can do a lot of commuting on a 500. You can do a lot of commuting on a 600, 750cc bike. And those things, there are advantages for those small displacement bikes. They're usually cheaper on gas. They're cheaper on insurance. They're cheaper on maintenance. There are reasons why you would want a small displacement bike. So yeah, go for it. If that's what you want, go for it. And here's the thing too. Those, you can probably find those on the used market for cheap, cheap, cheap. So yeah, absolutely. Go for it, man. Yes, that was a reply to my bike, the 650. You know, I did have fun with that bike. It was a good bike to have fun with. But what you know, thinking back on it, because, you know, we got nothing better to do. But I sold it. All right. So I moved from Hawaii to Washington State. When you're riding around the island, there's only so much road that you can ride on. And I mean, it's relatively low speed. It's controlled. I don't know how else other to say it. It's really closed. I don't know how to describe it other than it's closed. There's a lot of, the island's not like small. I mean, it's really big. It takes you all day to ride around the perimeter of the island. But when I moved from Hawaii to Washington State, it was like, you know, it was like opening the map. I mean, the world got so much bigger. And what I learned, especially about riding the bike all day on the island, is that this bike was not comfortable for super long distances. And I got to the position where all I wanted to do was crunch miles. Like that was what my riding style was becoming. So it's, you know, it was, don't get me wrong, I loved going fast on that bike. It was great. It was fun and all that mess. But I realized two things. One, that this bike was going to kill me if I wasn't careful. And two, that going fast and pop, like I've never popped a wheelie before on a bike. I don't intend to, I don't want to. That's not my riding style. But I got to learn that this bike was incompatible with what my riding style was becoming. And honestly, I'm surprised that I stuck with that bike as long as I did. Because once I started riding, like I started finding myself. Woo! So once I got to the point where I realized that this isn't the riding style for me, I was kind of stuck with the bike. I paid it off pretty quick. I was making payments on it at one point in time, but I don't even know why I didn't think about trading it in. I just felt like I was stuck with it. It was paid off, and what the depreciation rate on it was pretty severe. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stick it out as long as I can, and I did. Eventually, I sold it, but I just felt like I was kind of stuck with it. So, you know, I tried to make it work as much as I could. So, but yeah, I learned pretty soon after I bought that bike that, yeah, you know what, sport bikes pretty much aren't for me. And golly, you know, I'm thinking back, when I say that everyone rode sport bikes on the island, everyone I knew rode sport bikes. Everyone I was in the military with had sport bikes. You know, I was the only one. I was just trying to think. Yeah, everyone I knew had a sport bike. Everyone who I knew who rode had a sport bike. Very rarely would we see Harley Davidsons or anything else. Back then, adventure bikes weren't a thing. So, you know, you really wouldn't see. Are we there? There we are. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure those bikes were on the island. I just never saw them, so I don't know. Let's see here. We'll go back to the comments. All right. Nothing new in the comments, so yeah, you know, we're coming up on the 1 hour mark, and so I guess we'll wind this thing down. But thank you guys for joining me. It's been, you know, we talked about quite a few subjects, and I really like this this type of interaction. Man, this was fun, getting to talk to folks and kind of going back and forth. I feel like I've talked a lot actually over this last hour, and I probably did. But yeah, I appreciate the interaction. I appreciate everyone who stopped in to kind of talk, to come in and chat. Did I ever do an MSF? No, actually, I never did. But I actually want to do one because, you know, I've worked on my slow speed skills and all that other stuff, but you know, it can't hurt. Actually, I'm looking at doing one through Harley Davidson, through one of their rider academies. I'd really like to do it. It's just, you know, finding the time because Lord knows I have so much of it. But yeah, that's on my to-do list. So, but anyhow, yeah, I appreciate the interaction. I really like sitting and doing this like fireside chat type of format with everyone. We'll have to come in next week. I'm going to try to do things a little bit different next week. Obviously, through this pilot inaugural live stream, we figured out some things that work, some things that don't work. Obviously, I've got some kind of connection problem. I'll have to figure out what that is, and we'll figure out how to correct it. And we might try a vertical format for next week. I don't know. We'll see if that helps at all. But anyhow, thank you guys for watching. As always, I appreciate the support from the community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to come and join the Burroughs Point community. Other than that, thanks for watching. We'll catch you.